Hey, so Persona 5, I beat it, and I got the perfect, like the awesome good ending.
Nice. How do
Yeah,
you
there's
get
like
that ending? All your characters live, or like what? How do you get the good ending?
it's all based on choices.
Oh, throughout the entire game?
No, there's three particular choices. One is about three-quarters of the way, like right before the last dungeon.
Okay.
In fact, this is part of what triggers the last dungeon. So uh, you have to say the right thing for that question because there's questions throughout the game, right?
Right.
Um, and it's tied to your confident list. So people that are in your party or people that will help you. And the stronger your confident list is, so out of like from 0 to 10,
Yeah.
the more perks you get for the party, the more experience boosts you get for the certain persona or Pokemon, I think would be a great way for you to, well, you know what I'm talking about when I say personas,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot of perks and stuff like, or even something as simple as like one of the confidence is a first person shooter expert. So you train with him, and then when you're in battle, you'll one of the perks is like you could start the battle where everyone opens fire on the bad guy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then proceed to attack him in the order that you would normally do it. So there's things like that, right? And then so at the very end, like at the after the last palace, there's still the mementos dungeon,
Hmm.
and there's once you beat the one boss, there's a question, and if you answer it wrong, so to speak, you get like the good ending. But if you answer it the right way, you get like the really awesome good ending where everything is great. And that's what I did. So I was able to,
Awesome.
yeah. When you do that, if I remember correctly, not only do you get the good ending, but it also gives you like five more bosses to fight.
Like optional bosses, or
No, they're not optional, but it's kind of like a boss run, and because of the amount of time that you end up putting into this game, you're pretty significantly leveled up as it is.
yeah.
And and this is actually kind of funny. In the mementos, which is basically one of your free roaming dungeons that you can progress through as you progress the story.
Hmm.
So even in between palaces, like when you're in a palace, you can go in and out of that palace up until the due date. Once the due date hits, the palace is closed forever. So the mementos is a way for you to level up in between palaces, in during the story, like during palaces or in between. So it's a little bit more free roaming in that regard.
Okay.
And depending on where you are in the story, dictates how many levels you open up. Well, in the mementos, if you stick around, like if you don't move around in one spot for like longer than 2 minutes,
Yeah.
this Reaper guy shows up, and he's like a super boss. Like I did it on a whim. Like they tell you about it, and I was like, okay, well, let's see how bad he really is. Wiped out one round. Like within seconds, I was wiped out. Right. But if it's during flu season, every once in a while, like if you fight him, he could be afflicted with despair, which means A, he doesn't attack you, and B, after the third round, he despair takes over, so he dies, and then you reap the rewards of money and experience. And the experience is based on how many side quests you did, what levels you're currently at, and how far you progressed in the story. So I didn't know this, and then when I found that out, luckily I'm like on the last dungeon
Yeah.
and it's flu season, so I'm like, fuck it, let's just see what happens, right? And I was like at level 65, right? And then I maxed it. I killed him, I think, 4 times and got all the way up to like level 80. It's a little tedious in the sense that like every time you trigger it, he's not always full of despair, right?
Right,
So I
right.
think it was like once every 4 battles he was triggered with despair, but like the trade-off is that you're like I was getting 73,000 experience points for him.
That's nuts.
Yeah, well, okay, so to put this into perspective, so I was about, let's say 65. I'm pretty sure it was 65. So when I beat him the first time, 71. All my guys jumped up to 71. And it's not just my party members, but it's also my personas as well, right?
Right.
So then I was like, well, let's do it again, right? And then it was from 71 to 76, and then from 76 to I think it was like 79, 80, right? Or no, it was 80. That's right. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm good here. But the cool part is that the higher your level, the stronger persona that you can create, right? So I ended up creating like one of the strongest persona, and then just caked walked the final palace. But I will say though that even with my stacked levels, the bosses were still challenging.
Yeah.
Well, and the way it works too is that like so the despair exploit, so to speak, that could just as easily have affected my characters. So if my characters were affected with despair and I didn't cure it before the 3 rounds were up, then they would die.
Okay.
Right. And one of the things that's really cool about the battles is that like you can hit a character like a villain with a weakness,
Mm-hmm.
and it will actually give you the ability to make another hit. So you can, in effect, hit twice. Or like in the case where let's say it's a multiple of the same bad guy, so there's 3 of them.
Yep.
You can actually set it up so that one character can hit each person with that weakness, knock them all like for a loop, and then do an all-out attack where all of them join in and just beat the shit out of everybody on screen. But it can also happen that like it can happen to you. And there was a couple of times in the end. So even when I'm like max, like not max, but I'm like level 81 by the time I'm in the final like mementos dungeon.
Yeah.
And I accidentally got snuck up on. So they got to attack first. And the first thing one of the characters did was put all my guys to sleep. And then proceeded to just fucking tee off on me. And I'm like, fuck, fuck, fuck. And then I had to wait until one of them just kind of was like, oh, status ailment removed quickly. And then I was able to like get them back in shape. But so even though I was stacked, it was still cool enough or challenging enough that you still have to be prepared. You can't just like blindly click X, and rip right through every fight. So even just a normal random encounter could have killed me and set me back to the previous save.
No matter how strong you are, you still got to use a lot of strategy.
Or at the very least, pay attention.
You can't just run in and assume you're safe.
Exactly. And I don't know if Persona does this, but I have a feeling that the bosses kind of scale with you.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm not 100% on this. Although if it did that, I'd be totally fine with it.
Yeah.
Like it's, for me personally, I don't really care if I mow down every single random encounter quickly, but the bosses should at least be challenging to some degree.
Right.
But because like the last boss, with the official last boss, I wasn't worried about dying. Actually, there was only maybe 1 or 2 times where I'm like, oh fuck, okay, I got to be careful here. But yeah, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm not going to win. I had a feeling I was going to beat him in the first shot. You know what I mean? But it was still like, I still got to be careful. I still got to be prepared because I didn't know what kind of attacks he was going to throw at me.
Right.
But anyway, so needless to say, yeah, for a game that you can comfortably sink 80 to 100 hours into this, I will 100% say I never felt like I was putting that much time in.
That was like me with Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, like
Never once felt like I put 85 hours into it.
the only times that you can kind of like you can feel like they're stretching it out is in dragged out dialogue sequences.
Okay.
But that's about it, like really. But even if you cut that out, you'd really only be saving maybe half an hour, maybe.
Well, that's the difference. It's an RPG, so a lot of that
Right.
is actually story, right? Whereas
And
a
like
lot
I
of
mean,
the time-
obviously,
a lot of the time,
sorry, go on.
a lot of the time I sunk into Ghost of Tsushima was just like roaming around and looking at shit.
Well, so a lot of the stuff that I did too was optional. Like I didn't have to do as many side quests as I
Okay.
did.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't have to grind as much as I did. I could have not done that. Right. And obviously, but like I was saying, like the concept of grinding in the Persona games are different in the sense that, like, yes, you're grinding in the conventional sense where you're beating bad guys for experience and leveling up that way, but then you're also spending time with your teammates in between dungeons so that you increase your social link with them, right?
Yep.
In effect, making them and you a better team, and then bettering your team as a whole. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So as long as you spend time with every single person, plus the other confidence around town, you know, and then of course school, jobs, things like that. All of it it's like leveling up on almost like life, really. You know, like there's times where I'm playing the game and it's like, you know, you're choosing to spend time with these other characters, and I'm like, that's a lot like real life, except I don't do any of that. And like, I mean, I'm not even saying like we'll use COVID as a backdrop or as an excuse, but just in general, it's like how often you actually like see people now, or before, even before that, like how often would you get together, just hang out, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So it made me a little bit more conscious of that, you know, and also probably why I start calling people more often now. Yeah, like for you, you put 85 hours in Ghost of Tsushima, didn't feel like it at all. It was the same with me. At no point in time did I feel like I invested, like, or was I doing this move where I'm like, oh, okay, can I just beat it and get this over with?
Yeah.
The reality is that when I got to I want to say like the halfway point, I started to kind of go, man, like, I don't want this game to end right now. You know what I mean? Like I almost didn't want to finish it because then I'd have to say goodbye to the story, these characters, and this whole thing. Like, it's a really, like, I tried Persona 4, and I'll admit full on, I didn't fully grasp the concept of that game.
Mm-hmm.
But playing Persona 5, I think because I played a bit of Persona 4, I kind of knew what I was getting into. I kind of had an idea.
Yeah.
But the way they do it in Persona 5, I don't like, I'm not going to go and play Persona 4 again. I'm not going to try to play that one. I'm not going to play any of the other Personas because I feel like Persona 5 is like the pinnacle of what they were trying to achieve with 2, 3, or I think it's just 3 and 4 where they started doing the social links. But anyway, whereas now I just want to see what they're going to take with this and what they're going to come out with for Persona 6. Like, now I'm really excited for Persona 6.
Yeah. When's 6 coming out this year?
I think it's this year, but I might be next year. Their 30th anniversary is coming up.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not, don't quote me on that, because I know that there was supposed to be something this year, but I think what was supposed to be this year turned out to be Persona 5 Strikers.
Okay.
But I mean, they take a long time in between games, and they're like Rockstar, or is it Rockstar? The company that does Red Dead. Yeah, that's Rockstar. Yeah, so they take a million years in between games, but then when the game comes out, this is going to be a shocker here. It's a full game, right? It's completed. Like there's no patches that need to be done.
Yeah.
There's no glitches. Like I haven't even played Red Dead Redemption 2 yet, but I've heard zero complaints about glitches.
Rockstar's really just like given up on putting out a lot of titles. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. Like I saw this funny meme where it was like the PS2, the only console with 3 Grand Theft Autos. Grand Theft Auto 5, the only Grand Theft Auto on 3 PlayStations. Because it was PS4 and now got re-released on PS5.
Yeah, exactly.
Any come out since.
But the thing is, though, is how amazing are their games?
Yeah.
They're not putting out a fucking shit shell of a game every 1 or 2 years and then having to patch it in and get to like, even like no one says, hey, you know what? I know you're a huge Grand Theft Auto fan, but trust me on this one. Wait 6 months to a year before you buy the latest one, right?
Yeah. No.
Don't pre-order any of their games because you're not going to be happy. Whereas everyone says,
fuck. Yeah.
They're literally going to be like, no. If they announce the game is coming out, just pre-order it. If there's no date for it, just pre-order it and just leave it. Don't forget all about it. And then when they do announce a date, then remind yourself, oh yeah, I pre-ordered it, because you'll be fine. You'll have absolutely nothing to worry about. The only thing that we will tell you is that there will be DLC. That's it.
Yeah.
And
I will openly admit that I'm not a huge Rockstar fan because I get bored of the titles, but those games work perfect at launch every time.
I will say this. I've never been a big Grand Theft Auto fan, which is hilarious considering how invested I was in Red Dead.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption was awesome. I loved everything about it. And I honestly, I think the reason why I haven't tried Red Dead Redemption 2 yet is just because it's like so huge and I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah. Right.
It's a little daunting to start off with.
I could play 4 other games in that time frame.
But the irony is that I've come off 100 hours Persona 5, right?
Yeah.
And then before that, about 65 hours of Hollow Knight. So it's ironic that I was, but then again, during Hollow Knight, I was playing other games in between. Whereas with Persona 5, I was like, I'm just going to play Persona 5. That's it. I'm not going to play anything else. So anyway, Persona 5 is amazing. I said in my text earlier, it's one of the best games I've ever played, but it's also one of the best RPGs I've ever played.
Yeah, that alone too.
Yeah.
Best RPGs ever, and you've been playing them since the PS1, so.
I've been playing RPGs since
since
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because I played Legend of Zelda 2.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of Legend of Zelda 2. At the time, I also played Dragon Warrior 3. And but I was like, I think 9 or 10.
Yeah, you couldn't.
I hadn't played an actual RPG, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And that was also at a period where, like, they were literally just like, "Yeah, you're gonna start in this town, and someone might tell you something." You know, it's not like when I got into the Super Nintendo stuff, where it was like you play an RPG and you start to get a feel for it, and then you start to go, okay, well, what happens if I just walk around this town, or what happens if I walk around this huge field? Then you come across stuff, and then you start leveling up, and then you find secrets, and then you go, oh, okay, all right. So then after that, once you play a good RPG, you can pretty much play all of them and figure them out, right?
Exactly.
I think that's another reason why Persona 4 was so weird to me, because it's not like other RPGs. Like, aside from the leveling up and the dungeons, like, that's the same, but I mean, it's set in a modern setting. You know, you're dealing with like Pokemon style gameplay, which I was never really into.
Yeah.
And then the social aspects was something I had to wrap my head around. But like I said, Persona 5, I was like, mwah. Bring on Persona 6. And that's about it. Those are my thoughts on Persona 5.
Nice.
Anyone else seeing this clip has your favorite RPGs or anything, let us know in the comments. That would be great. Or if you didn't like Persona 5, let us know in the comments. Tell me why. And then I will make fun of you.
Agree.
I will tell you that you're wrong, even though it's your opinion, and that isn't the right way to handle an opinion. What about you, Ken? Do you have anything to add to this video game conversation?
No, not really. I'm playing Super Mario Odyssey. I'm on the final Bowser boss. It's hard as fuck.
It should be
hard. It's not so much that it's hard. It's just they don't give you the lives needed to do it. You know?
Okay. All right. No. Hold on. I'm gonna channel my inner Dark Souls character and say, "You got to get good."
Good. Yeah. Get good.
Get good. And you're like, okay, but like,
yeah,
it's really hard. And I don't know if I want to invest that much time in getting good for a game that's punishingly hard.
So, I mean, I'm just going to keep picking away at it until I finally beat him. I almost saw him the other night, and he hit me. He's got like 3 rounds, right? So,
right.
Throws his hat at you because the game's all about hats.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the game.
Throws his hat at you. You throw your hat. You hit his hat. You take control of his hat. You go up to him. You punch him like this.
Yep.
And then he does this tail spin with fire, and you got to jump the tail spins.
Okay.
And then the second round, he's throwing more hats at you, fire, like shooting fire.
Of course.
That you got to hop over. You get the hat, you go up, do the punch thing, do the tail thing again, right?
Yeah.
Third round, increasing fire, way more hats.
Yeah.
Tail spin, right?
You're all just trying to pick your spot where you can hit them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the tail.
Yeah. You know what's funny? That's what they say in Hollow Knight. They say like where most of the bosses, what you want to do is figure out what attack that you want to attack them on. And then dodge everything else. So just dodge everything else, and then as soon as you see that opening that you can see, attack, and then get out of there and keep dodging. So it's like, oh shit.
Same here. So like the tailspin was like 3 times. So I had 1 life left, right? You get 6 lives. I had 1 life.
Of course.
And I jumped and I jumped and I jumped. I did the punch. And I'm like, I beat him. Throws another tailspin in. Nails me.
Oh,
I was like, you son of a bitch.
That's when you did this, eh? You very calmly went, okay, I'm going to put the controller down. I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to change the input. I'm going to go into the basement and I'm going to punch a wall, but then I'm going to come back and everything will be fine. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, no, I hit the power button on the controller. It shut down. I looked at Adrian. I'm like, oh, there's nothing fun about that. That's just very, very frustrating. And I'm very angry. So I'm going to put this down and I'm going to walk away.
Yeah. That's, we've all been there. We've all been there.
I'm way better now with my games than I used to be. Like I used to rage hard.
Yeah, yeah, you were a rager.
If YouTube was around back in the PS1, PS2 days, I could have made a channel of me just fucking raging. It probably would have been a huge hit. But
yeah, you were quite a rager. You know who else was a rager too? Ryan was. Ryan that used to live with me.
Oh, that Ryan. Yeah,
he was a rager.
Yeah.
He was a rager. He like would punch his own leg, like do that hammer fist to his own leg. And I remember the first time I saw him do that, and like. Because I knew him for so many years, and the first time I ever saw him do that, I was like, "Doesn't that hurt?" And because he was so in it, right, and he was so full of adrenaline and like rage that he was just like what hurts? And I'm like, nothing.
No.
Never mind. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, I've raged too. Where I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, oh fuck, but like. In your height, you were pretty bad, but nothing tops him. Like he was a controller thrower too.
Yes, yeah, I was never that. I was never ever that. I was
poor, so I mean, if I threw that controller and broke it, I'm not playing that game.
Yeah, and I bought all my own shit. And I was like, I'm not rich. My parents, I got to buy this for me. So I never ever.
And that's the other thing too. Like
I did the hammer fist on my leg a few times. I'll openly admit that. Never threw the controller.
I must have done the hammer fist at least once or twice. I had to have, like, because I mean, fuck, sometimes you just, especially because you're in it, right? Like, so
Yeah.
you're in it, and then you
going.
just can't fucking beat that boss, and then it looks like, yes, I'm gonna fucking do it, and then no,
Yeah.
you can't. I'd have to say, like, in the entire time I played video games, I probably hammer fist my leg, I would say at least 5 times. I
At
feel
least.
like that's, I would
I
say
would
5
say
times.
I would say definitely probably 5 times minimum. Probably 5 to 10. We'll go 5 to 10. I've played a lot of games.
No, then I can't say 5. If you're saying a minimum 5, then I got to be at least 1 or 2. Because you raged a lot harder than I did.
You know what made me rage? Metal Gear Solid, the fucking electrocuting scene. Where you're fucking.
Yeah. Yeah, see, because like.
Rub it.
And yeah, because you played on the PS, so you had to go through that, and you had to rapidly tap it.
Yeah.
By the time I got to play it on the GameCube, they dumbed that shit down.
Oh yeah.
I remember just being like preparing for it, and then like boom, I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
but I heard, and you couldn't even they had it in the game, so you couldn't use the trigger, like the turbo controller. You actually had to physically button mash, and you couldn't do any sort of tweaks or anything.
No, it was Smash X. And then I was reading tips online, and they were saying, no, I wasn't reading tips online. I was in BM magazines back then. But I read like the rub on top, just like rubbing it.
The rub on top. I heard there was the one where like you tap like this.
Yeah, a little bit of tapping or double tapping like this, and
I saw that one too, and I was just like, "Are you like this is crazy?"
Everything. I tried everything. And that's every Metal Gear game. You get that one spot in every Metal Gear game where it's like, I love those games and I replay them, but every time I get to that point, I'm like, oh, here we go. This is what I was not looking forward to. And that was the same with Uncharted. Uncharted with the fucking the Ski-Doo thing up the river. I hate that spot.
Yeah, you know what? I remember in every Uncharted game, there was always like once. Was it Uncharted 3, where they had that one stealth level?
Yeah, through the museum. Or no, was that the museum?
No.
Third one.
That was the second one, but that one was fine. I'm talking like the one where it's like you're in the desert.
Yeah. Oh,
all
that
the
one.
agents. There's all the agents around.
Yep.
And I think there was like a trophy to get it without being seen, but it was really, really hard because the stealth mechanics in the Uncharted games are not the greatest.
No. They
got better every game, but they still weren't that great. But I remember that one. But it's funny that you say that with Metal Gear, because I want to play Snake Eater again, but I don't want to fight the end.
Same here.
I want to play Guns of the Patriot again, but I don't want to go through what is it? Is it the Rage? The one that's flying around and you're in the tower.
Oh yeah.
I want to say it's the Rage, but I hated that boss. Yeah,
I didn't have a hard time with that boss, but I think you always played on a higher difficulty than I did.
I played on normal difficulty, so yes, I did. But it's not that he was hard, or she. Sorry, it's not that she was hard. She was just annoying. Like it was like hard to hit her per se. It was time consuming, and I mean, the sniper one, that one's a dragged out fight too. But even that one was not Sniper Wolf, but it is Sniper Wolf, but I can't remember what the name is. Laughing Wolf or something like that, or
Crying Wolf.
Crying Wolf. I think it's Crying Wolf. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I had no problems with that battle. No problems at all. But that fucking raging bird or whatever was ugh. And I also don't like the that's the one part of that floor where you put like Snake's face on and you wear normal clothes.
Oh, where you're walking through the streets?
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah.
That one's really annoying, actually. I really did not like that sequence.
Yeah. No, there was a couple. Every one of them has some annoying aspects, but the story trumps all to me. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's just it, right? So that's part of it where you're just like, it. Yeah. I guess I wait long enough, and then I'm like, I don't care. I have to experience that story again, so I'll sit through it.
I still haven't gone back to the series since getting it on my PS3. I want to go through them now because they patched them all with trophies. So like I want to. I'll never get platinums on them because I'm not going to play on freaking super duper hard mode and all that.
Or online.
Yeah, or online. Yeah, but lovely.
And yeah, you're right. Like I'm not going to play. I play them on normal mode,
Yeah.
but I'm not replaying a game on super hard, absolutely hard.
Yeah.
Like, punch yourself into nuts difficulty levels. No way. I don't need to.
No, it's not worth it. Not worth it for some fake trophy.
Yeah, that's right. What do you get for that in real life? Nothing.
You get the gloat to some people.
But you can only gloat to other gamers.
Yeah,
and those gamers have to be into the same game. Otherwise, it means nothing to them. Right? Like if I told you I platinumed Persona 5, you'd be like, "Oh, hey, good for you," and that's it. Like that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
There's no like, "Oh, well, which trophy gave you the hardest, or which one drove you the nutsest?" No, it's just like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah, there's some There's some addicted trophy people out there. It's crazy. Like
I mean, yeah,
Hannah Montana, the game or the movie game or something, had like an easy platinum, and then it was like the top seller of the month because everyone was just buying it to platinum.
Yeah, well, all I can say is if that brings you joy, fine. If you're doing it so that you can hold it over other people, that's not so fine.
Yeah, there's really nothing like, oh, I got a platinum, and then Hannah Montana. For a moment there,
yeah.
For a moment,
you know what I love? I love that the first platinum I ever received was the Spider-Man game. I'm proud of that one.
I don't even remember what my first one is anymore. I honestly think it was the X-Men Origins Wolverine game.
That wouldn't surprise me. That would not surprise me.
I actually went through that on hard mode. Like I went through a normal, and then I was like, okay, with the healing factor, and I was just like,
that's actually not a bad argument.
I was doing one berserker move where I just jump across and stab guys, and jump and stab and jump and stab. I was like, if I just do that over and over again with the healing factor and keep my distance, the only parts that are really gonna be hard are the Wendigo and Deadpool at the end. I think I can do this. And I did it. Deadpool at the end, though, holy crap, that would be a couple of the Hammer Fist times right there.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Deadpool.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Fake pool.
Fake pool, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not even Deadpool light. That is just full on fake pool.
Yeah. He sewed his mouth shut. His whole thing is talking a lot. Yeah,
but it's not even just that. It's like, okay, so you sewed his mouth shut, and then you put retractable blades in his fucking forearms. Like that was the other one.
Yeah, and you had him shoot lasers from his eyes like Cyclops.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I understood that the idea was that he had all the powers of the mutants that they had held captive, but couldn't you have just made a new character then?
Yeah. Or
why did it have to be Wade Wilson?
Pull from the 4 million mutants in the Marvel universe. I'm sure one of them has that power.
Oh, there is one actually.
One that could just, other than Rogue, that absorbs power.
No, there is actually one. And he's got like angel's wings, but he's got like beast's dimensions.
Okay.
I think he's got all the powers of the like original X-Men. So he's got Psyche's optic blasts. He's got Jean Grey's telepathy. So yeah. And I believe he might also have Iceman's ice powers as well. So I will do some digging and find the name of this character. I'm 99% positive that I'm right here.
I completely believe you.
I was gonna say, like, at this stage, Kenneth is like, I'll just take your word for it.
Yeah.
Because
some of the characters
remember
came
that friggin' skateboarder Spider-Man villain, Rocket Racer.
Oh man.
I can't believe I was off by the fact that he had a skateboard and not skates, like roller skates, like I thought he did. I was like, why did I think he had roller skates? Never mind the fact that I was 98% correct. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us on this talk about video games. Like I said, put in the comments what your favorite game is or what your favorite RPG is. If you liked Persona 5, great. If you didn't, also great. But let me know and let us know what other games that we should play. That's another good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Throw recommendations.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And as always, stay geeky, Geek Pantsers. Just like me. Just be as geeky as me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You tried. That's all that matters.
No. I didn't try. I just did it. I think if I tried, it wouldn't have come off as cool as it did.
That's what that demeanor was. Oh, okay, it was cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's
cool.
right. Very cool. Very
cool.
Yeah, whatever.